All right, welcome everybody to the Creators Table. I'm joined here with Cam Elise, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a short description on Cam Elise. Cam Elise is a 16-year-old singer and songwriter from the Las Vegas area. She's been performing on stage since she was 8 years old. She recently released her first full-length LP on vinyl. She gets a lot of inspiration from 90s rock and grunge music. Alanis Morissette and Chris Cornell are favorites of hers. Cam loves to travel and to perform. Her next trip is to Nashville during spring break, where she will be playing in several writers' rounds. While in Nashville, a local record store will be hosting her album release party. Cam is a junior and a culinary major in high school. When she's not performing or learning new music, she loves to bake and hang out with her pets. So how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'll just say behind the scenes, we had some technical difficulties, but we fixed them. And hopefully this time we're not gonna have it again. Hopefully. We shall see. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do and just give us a brief rundown on that.
So I am a Las Vegas musician and singer-songwriter. I do gigs all around the Las Vegas area and just released my first full-length LP last year. So basically what I do is I go around town and I sing and I have fun.
That sounds like a great gig. Why don't you you said you traveled a lot to do performances in your description. So where have you traveled and what is maybe your favorite place that you've been to?
Yeah, so I first traveled to Nashville last spring break, so my sophomore year, which was super cool, just exploring the whole area. And then I also went to California, in San Diego and San Francisco. So I have to say that I loved probably, oh my gosh, I don't know. I love all the places. I love traveling and
Mm.
seeing like new people. So I don't really have a favorite. I just love all of them.
They're very different. Like
Very different.
Nashville has such a country music undertone to it.
Right.
And more,
Yeah.
there's music there in general, but it's very much, you can tell that it's a country music place. Whereas like
Yeah.
Nashville and San Diego and San Francisco could not be more different, you know?
I know. It was kind of crazy when my parents and I went to Nashville for the first time. We're not country music listeners at all.
Hmm.
So when we came back to Vegas, we were like, we kind of gained appreciation for the genre
Hmm.
because you get to see all these artists who are dedicated to the genre, and it's just really interesting to see how dedicated they are.
I really think like some of the best country artists aren't the most famous. Like I would say in not the majority, but in a lot of genres, popularity in music often shows in a good way how good the song is, how well
Mhm.
it's received. But a lot of country music that I find that is my favorite really isn't on the top of the charts, for country music, really.
Yeah, for sure. I can see that. When I was performing at a writers round, one of the writers rounds, I forgot which one it was, but I think there was another country artist in the mix of everyone,
Hmm.
and it kind of got me thinking, do I like country music now? Because she was really good. I didn't know.
Can you tell us a little bit about your LP then?
Oh yeah. So I started recording it probably a year or so before it released. So I released it in September 2024. So
Hmm.
I started recording in October of 2023. And just stepping into the studio for the first time was surreal itself. But being able to record like the first songs I ever wrote was even more surreal, I feel, because it's like, whoa, I'm recording these songs that I wrote myself
Yeah.
in my bedroom on a random day,
Mm.
and people are gonna listen to it on repeat.
Yeah, you got people who are dedicating time to help you record one of these songs that you just, like you said, just like randomly recorded. Like that would be so cool, honestly. And I was gonna also ask, how many songs are in your LP?
There are 9 songs overall. Eight of them are originals, and one of them is a cover by Chris Cornell that I had one of my friends who I met at an open mic that he ran here in Vegas, he recorded the guitar part on that. His name's Casey Stickley, and he's awesome. So he helped me record that because we're both Chris Cornell lovers.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's really cool for you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you? I'm guess what I'm interested is how are you getting these gigs from out of state? I know a lot of things with being a young musician and getting starting out. You just got to do a lot of networking. So how have you guys approached getting these gigs out of state, and what is how does that process look like?
So it's a lot of networking, as you said, like a lot of networking. A lot of these writers rounds that you go to, you first have to go to like your open mic rounds, and then they'll book you for an actual writers round. So that's what I did a lot the
Mm-hmm.
first time. But I also had a booker who helped me. Jaybird Bookings helped me a lot uh, get some of the gigs that I couldn't do myself because, people don't really listen to a 16-year-old when they want a gig.
Mm-hmm.
So just having like higher authority, I'd say, introduced me to a gig really helped me a lot with these gigs. And then also through friends, a lot of Vegas musicians here will go to Nashville. So just discussing, discussing where they played, they'll tell me, hey, this place is really cool. And then we'll reach out and drop their name, and then we'll kind of exchange gigs with each other. So there's a lot of networking involved.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned also, I guess, just places like Nashville has got to have a lot of things going on. Like, if there's
Yeah.
ever a place I've been to where it felt like their thing was local music, it was Nashville. I mean, scratch any other city off I've been to. Now, I haven't been to a lot of these other big cities that have a big local music influence. I mean, they have, local music. It's
Mhm.
just so apparent when you go to Nashville. People go
Right.
there because they're wanting to be a musician.
Mhm.
It's a good place to go. It's a good place to meet people. Did you go to places like Gibson Custom Shop and stuff?
We did. Oh my gosh. We went there one of the days we were there, and I fell in love with one of the hummingbird guitars, but
Oh, really?
I'm aiming to buy that when I get a little bit more big because it's a
That
little bit out of the
yeah.
price range.
That's true. That's true. I mean, look, it's a really nice guitar though. I mean, you can never have
Yeah,
enough guitars.
exactly.
I,
That's what I go. Yep.
yeah, I'm sure everybody would agree with that, right? That just makes plenty sense. What has it been like growing your music platform on social media? How has that been? When did you start, and when did you start to see success?
Oh, social media is a very, very tough thing, especially for
Mm-hmm.
me. As a 16-year-old, you'd expect me to, be in love with social media, but
Of
I
course.
absolutely hate it
Oh,
so
really?
much. Yeah, and I hate that in like today's society, that's where people get big and that's where people get known just
Mm-hmm.
by algorithm and like what to post and what not to post and your persona online.
Yeah.
So, I became kind of like a perfectionist when it came to posting online because I wanted it to be something that I liked and I also wanted to be something that, represented me.
Mm-hmm.
So I I could never post something that I felt like wasn't myself. So it was very
Mm-hmm.
difficult to get in the move and the rhythm of posting regularly and enjoying what I like. And it's still something I struggle with. Um, but I started coming to the realization if I ever wanted to get anywhere, I needed to start posting on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So I started posting when I first started going to open mics, so like 2021. And then I kept going and going and going until when I was actually able to promote gigs. So I'm still going on with it. Just within the past year, I've really pushed myself to start posting more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm just trying to go with the flow and suck it up, basically.
No,
Sounds really bad.
no, I fully understand where you're coming from about disliking social media. I mean, if you really want to see, there's people who are just, just get lucky. Kind of like you said,
Right.
like some people are just gonna get lucky. They're gonna make one post and it's gonna get 500,000 views, and they're gonna gain 30,000 followers in a day. Some people
Yeah.
aren't as lucky. Some people they're gonna have to constantly post, whether that be
Mhm.
daily, whether that be weekly, and
Mhm.
really not see a dramatic jump. But I do think that that success does come because once you start developing a fan base and people who are following your stuff, they're going to keep promoting it, and such as what I've discovered, at least with my stuff personally, is, as I've, there was a time where it felt like I was just posting for like my family. Like those were the people who were actually looking at it. I had people
Yeah.
who were following me. I had more followers than I had friends and family, but not necessarily felt like those people were really engaged. And
For
then you
sure.
cross a threshold, and what I would say the threshold you've crossed into is somebody messaged you to be on a podcast. That means your stuff is getting out there.
I was a first and it was really cool.
Yeah, it's like me.
It was just crazy because you said you found me on your For You page, right?
Indeed, yes.
Which is insane because I think I post like I only have like 2 videos on TikTok and nothing else. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, For You page, that's crazy. I don't do anything on TikTok, which obviously I should.
All right,
But
yeah.
like, oh,
Genuinely, I was just, it could be my algorithm on that account is if I see a musician or an artist, I follow them and I reach out to
mhm,
them, depending on if I feel like if they would be somebody that would be fitting to have on. And,
right.
or if they're, if they have open DMs. A lot of times they don't, but there's been very few
Mhm.
times that I've had somebody respond and be like, why would I want to be on a podcast? Um, people ask me a lot that I know, like, has it been hard to get guests? And I'm like, well, think about it. If somebody asks you, would you like to be on a podcast? First, you're probably going to be like, why on earth do you want me on your podcast? Um,
Right.
and second, you're probably going to be like, why would I not want to be on a podcast?
That was exactly my thought process, actually. Yep.
I'm like, that's kind of the one thing I didn't realize because I thought it would be a lot harder. And all of a sudden, I was like, well, I would love to be on a podcast if somebody asked me. So,
Mhm.
um, that was a. So, can you tell us a little bit about your musical inspirations? A big question I always have for people who who became musicians is whether they had a musical background in their life. For me, I didn't have. I played guitar a lot growing up, and I didn't
Mhm.
necessarily have somebody, a member of my family or anything like that, that actually played, guitar or anything like that. So is there maybe where did that really start for you then?
So like you, I'm the first in my family to be a musician or anything like that, anything music related. So I kind of got it actually from my parents, but not because they were musicians, but because they're such big music lovers. My
Mm-hmm.
first concert was when I was 6 weeks old. I went to see Donna Summer.
Oh wow.
Um, Yeah, we're really big concert goers and stuff, and I grew up listening to Lithium, Sirius
Mm-hmm.
XM station. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of my inspirations grew from those car rides and all the concerts I went to. Since we like the same music, so my parents would just get me an extra ticket because they wanted to see the artist too. So
Yeah.
my inspirations are like 90s grunge rock type people. So like you said in my introduction, Chris Cornell and Alanis Morissette, they're definitely like my biggest inspirations when it comes to music and how they write their songs. But lately I've been listening to a lot of more singer-songwriter folky type artists. So I've been listening to a lot of Brandy Carlisle. She's
Okay.
definitely one of my bigger inspirations lately. But it all just started because my family was such big music lovers. Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah, that's huge. I think everybody can kind of say in some way that maybe not everybody, but I know for me at least, a lot of my music taste was adapted through my parents. Now they don't listen to exactly
Right.
what I listen to, but there's a lot of times, good memories I have growing up where I enjoyed a certain type of music, and that just led into something of my own of exploring a certain type of music. And it's
Yeah,
cool that you kind of also enjoyed it through radio. I didn't
yeah.
realize, I didn't realize how cool radio was until I really start. So, because I don't listen to the radio that much anymore, you know.
Mhm.
So you really don't realize how much of an impact it has on your day until you realize like most people are listening to the same three or four radio stations every day.
Right. That's how I feel. Even like I drive myself to school to and from,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually just use the radio. I don't really connect my phone to songs. I just listen to the four main stations that I like, and I find a lot of new music through there. So I always just keep an ear out when I ear out, keep an ear listening when um, I'm listening in the car.
That is really smart, actually, to do that. I always find myself sometimes I'll get in that point where I've listened to so much of my music over and over and over again. I'm like, okay, I need to find something new. There's some song out there that I'm looking for that I don't even know that I'm looking for right now.
Right.
I was also gonna say this is so off topic, but the fact that you were driving at 16 is a rare thing. I don't know if you realize that.
I don't know. I've always loved like cars and like driving for some reason. So when
Mm-hmm.
I turned 15 and a half, that's how old you have to be to get a permit in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I like ran, I actually got it on my half birthday. And then I got my license like a week before junior year started.
Mm-hmm.
And so now like the designated driver for all my friends and I love it.
Yeah, that I it the only reason I bring it up is because I relate so much. I got my driver's license not at 16, but I got it a little around that time. And all of my friends seemingly didn't have their license until they were graduated high school.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can be 16. Like, why does nobody get their license? It's. Anyways, that is so off topic. But,
No, you're
so, and you said, can you tell me about some more of like the 90s grunge type music you like?
so, like I said, my parents really got me into all their music.
Mm-hmm.
So we plan our concerts for the year, and they just happen to be the same artists that we all like.
Mm-hmm.
For example, we saw Foo Fighters, I think like four times in all, because they're like my biggest like band that I listen to all the time.
Foo Fighters are
And
great.
then yeah, and then Alanis Morissette actually just announced like a week or 2 week long residency here in Vegas. So
Wow.
we got the pre tickets as soon as we could.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm trying to think what other artists. We went to see, they're not really 90s grunge, but we saw Heart like 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
So they're awesome too. So just any rock is awesome. Even my
Mm-hmm.
brother, he's not really 90s rock. He's an 18-year-old listening to Steely Dan and like Grateful Dead. So he got
Hmm.
more the older
Mm-hmm.
music from my parents and I got more of their teenage years and my teenage years. So it's funny how it
Interesting.
all works out. Yeah.
Interesting. This is another off-topic question. Have you been to the Sphere, like the Sphere in Las Vegas?
Yeah, so we went to like the movie thing that they had going on when it first opened, so it wasn't like a
Mm.
concert. It's like the experience, and that was super super cool. And then my brother and my dad went to see the Grateful Dead residency, and
Wow.
they loved it. So I'm gonna wait until there's someone I really really want to see because they're a
Mm.
little bit expensive. They
Yeah.
said it was awesome. I'm excited to go to a concert there.
Yeah, I would love to go. I really do plan to go to Vegas at some point. Because
Mm.
I just want to check that out. I also just like going to different cities. So it's definitely
Yeah,
somewhere on my bucket list that I haven't been to yet. Um,
super. It's super weird, kind of growing up in the Vegas area because
mhm.
I was born in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and then we moved here when I was 6.
Mm.
So it's kind of weird growing up in an area that's known to be a famous party city. It doesn't feel like that to me at all. When people are super excited over the strip, I'm just like, oh, it's the strip. Like it's
Yeah.
nothing to me.
Yeah, that's like the play that's like the bachelor party like
Yep.
you go to Vegas, no?
But
Also Scranton, Pennsylvania. I mean, do you know where I'm gonna go with
yes.
that? Okay.
Yes, I know.
I heard Scranton and I was like, so she must know Jim and Michael Scott.
There you go. Yep.
I mean that must just you must pass by the Dunder Mifflin plant like all the time. That's okay. For anybody listening and not knowing where that is from, you are required to listen or to watch The Office
Yes.
immediately, um, and you will understand after that. Um, so, anyways, can you tell us a little bit about like what music has meant to you over these past years and how it's kind of how it makes you feel whenever you get whenever you see that your music career kind of starting to blossom.
Yeah, I mean, music is like the biggest bond in my family. Like we all come together to go to concerts and listen to music, so it's something really strong within my family. But career-wise, just these past couple of years watching everything grow has been key to me. Like I'll have people come up to me in school asking if I'm the Cam that releases music, and I'm like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it's super fun. I actually just had some of my teachers, my culinary teachers, come to watch one of my gigs, and they're super supportive. So it's super cool when someone in my school or some of my friends come to support me music wise. But I've also grown friends in the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
So music industry in Vegas is surprisingly pretty small, the scene itself.
Mm.
So the bond that like I've created in the industry itself was is super amazing. It's kind of weird to say, but a lot of my friends are a little bit older than me just because they
It's
all go to open mic. But they don't look at me any differently. They just see
mm-hmm.
me as another musician, and it's just kind of funny because they're my parents' friends too. So it's cool to see that I've made friends, but my parents have also made friends, and we've become like this tight family.
Yeah, yeah. I've noticed that through people I know. There's certain types of music where whether they're playing, that there might not be a lot of other people who are a lot older or something like that. It might be more of an age consistency. But I have noticed when you go to like these open mics, it's all ages,
Yeah, it
and
is.
it's not to say anything against those people who are uh, older and going to these open mics, but you have a leg up kind of that you're starting this now, because not to say you're like you have no plans and you're just all I know is that when you're younger you have more time, you know
Exactly. Mhm.
obviously you've got school and stuff like that, but you have more time to dedicate to these things. You don't have to. I don't know if you have a job, but you don't necessarily have to be working depending on your situation and such. You have a lot of these outlets, and you can just kind of be a kid and enjoy music for that first half and really kind of pursue it as much as you want. And then once you get
Yeah.
out of high school, or you're kind of able to be out of those baby steps and you have something solid for yourself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because hopefully after you graduate and stuff like that, you can kind of step into more of a committed role in music and be able to kind of rely on that and really do that and really kind of fully pursue that.
Right. I think that's also a little bit of the stressor too, because just like this past year, I've kind of realized that I have the decision of either going to college or not going to college
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like if I'm going to college, it'll just set me back if like I won't be able to focus on my career as much.
Yeah.
But it's also insane because my whole life I've been like this straight A student, have been
Mm-hmm.
officers in all these clubs in high school, and the only thing that's been on my mind after high school is college. So realizing that I might not have to do that in order to have a career is crazy to me.
So why don't you? What about your parents? How have they been with you guys, or with you in this situation, and how have they been supportive? And what is their kind of role in your music career?
So basically, to put it bluntly, I would not be doing this podcast if my parents were not as supportive as they were.
Mm-hmm.
I think I won the lottery in the parent lottery because they've been like the most supportive people ever, and it's just insane to think about how lucky I am to have them. Um, they sacrificed like a lot of things for me. My mom, when there's some nights when we go to open mics and she's had a long day of work, and she'll go to the open mic in her scrubs because she still
Mm.
wants to be there. So that just means a
Oh.
lot to me. Just them believing in me, helping me to pursue my career has been
Mm.
everything. And their pep talks that they give me when I'm
Mm-hmm.
doubting myself. That's what keeps me going. So I appreciate them.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the people I've met who you are younger musicians typically have very, very supportive parents, and I noticed that like anytime I've gone to like support them and the music they're doing, I'll see I'll see like their parents there, and I'm just like, wow, that's really good that they're doing that, because it's probably, it's one of those things where it's really tough. You're, as yourself, you're really picking something where, it can be hard to find that success.
Yeah, I
And
mean, even my dad, he makes a lot of he made my website. He made my whole website.
oh, cool.
And yeah, he keeps me on top of my social media, which I need.
Mm,
Um so
that's
just the
really
two
good.
of them, yeah, they just help me out a lot cuz my dad's a businessman at heart, so
Mm.
just having his advice alone um really helps me and helps me understand like the things I need to do in order to better myself.
Yeah, I that having him to support you and posting on social media, that is
Mhm.
huge because it takes
Yeah.
so much motivation to post on social media because sometimes
Mhm.
you just don't have something. Actually, a lot of the time you just don't have something and you're just like, I just gotta come up with something. You know?
Basically.
Um, okay, cool. And I got another question for you that maybe kind of is a little off the beaten path. And
Mhm.
I kind of gave this one. So if you don't necessarily have a great answer for it right now, it's okay. But what is a
Okay.
piece of media slash art that you unapologetically enjoy that might shock others?
I am in a magnet school that doesn't have any music related majors or anything.
Mm,
Actually, the only elective that we have that is music related is piano. Um, but
wow.
I wanted to do something that actually wasn't music on purpose
Mm,
because I felt like if I went to an arts high school at least, that I wouldn't enjoy it and music would feel like homework. And I like how music is my own thing and I make it my own thing.
mm,
And I wanted to do something that I wouldn't stress about thinking, oh snap, if I don't do well in here, then that's truly gonna like affect me in the long run. But culinary is something I enjoy doing as a hobby,
mm,
and I don't stress about it. And it's what got me through quarantine actually because I had like my own little home bakery that I was running
mm,
because I couldn't really sing out anymore.
mm.
But I was just like, "Oh, if I do culinary, then I'll have fun and it won't stress me out." So, it's kind of random, but it's awesome to me.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta make sure you don't mix up your guitar strings with your spaghetti noodles.
Right.
I mean, other than that, you should be fine. Yeah, I always think some people always are like, I need to come up with something shocking, and I'm like, no, it's just like it's it's like you listen to 90s grunge and rock music, but you also like baking and cooking. That's
Right.
cool. Okay? I mean, a little rock music in the kitchen. That's pretty
Hmm.
cool. What is your favorite thing
Yep.
to bake though? Like what is your or bake cook?
I'm a pastry like baking person
Okay, cool.
at my heart. So the cooking is cool, but when I get to bake at school, it's like the most awesome thing ever.
And what do you like to bake? Like what's your favorite thing?
I love cakes the most because
Mm.
just decorating them and adding all the colors, I get to be creative. It's kind of like this is gonna sound really cheesy, but it's kind of like writing a song because you have all the different elements and then you put them all
Huh.
together. Then you get like a finished product and it's really satisfying.
Yeah,
So,
like the melody is like the
yeah.
frosting, and then the cake mix is let's say it's the lyrics.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So maybe after, you release the LP, you make a cookbook.
Right, that's a good idea
Cooking with
right
Cam.
there. Oh yeah.
Sorry, it's the capitalist in me that's just like money. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
My bakery name was Cami Cakes, so you're not far off.
Cammy cakes. Okay, cool. That's a
Yeah.
if you're ever looking for a little extra bit of money, you can start selling baked goods.
Yep.
There you go. When you're not, you know, rocking out, you're baking cakes. Cool. Okay. So, my next question would be, what are just some difficulties you've run into, and obviously from somebody who's younger, this might tie more to the aspect of balancing life, school, music, cooking. How has that been? What are some difficulties you've run into with that?
So yeah, basically my age is the biggest difficulty of all of it. I'm pretty good at balancing, my school life and my music life and like having time for friends and family.
Hmm.
It's more that um I live in Las Vegas, so we have a lot of music places where you can go and have gigs and stuff, but it's all 21 and up.
Yeah, I
So
didn't even think about that. Yeah.
struggle so much trying to find gigs. And
Hmm.
even if it's not 21 and up, um, a lot of people um, have the opinion that just because I'm 16 that I'm not experienced at all.
Hmm.
But I've been doing this for half my life for 8 years, and have released music. I've been doing gigs myself for like 3, 4 years now, and
Hmm.
it's just frustrating when people don't take me seriously. So my age is the biggest thing that is like a struggle for me, for sure.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, and it's not even just like there's so many things that don't open up to you until you're
Right.
18.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many
That's
things that they
that's
hold from you.
yeah. I mean, I feel like if I was 18, then maybe people would be able to like pull more strings to get me to
Hmm.
play 21 and up, please. But because I'm still like a minor, there's like no possibility. And I can't, it's not like I can get a fake ID because, I look 16, so
Well, I wouldn't. I'm sure your parents probably wouldn't encourage that either. Um,
yeah.
I mean, maybe if it unless you're like you can get a chunk of the pie as well.
Right, right, right.
I mean, it's music. I mean, whether they're gonna be like young music. I mean, I can kind of understand not wanting to throw somebody who's 16 in maybe an environment
Yeah,
like that because obviously it can
yeah,
be there could be some rough people. I don't know, but I
right.
do see why that is frustrating on your end because you're just like I need a gig that I can go to.
Yeah, there has been some things that have helped me get into some of these places. Like as I said before, my old men friends are like Sorry. Sorry
No,
to my friends.
that makes sense, but
They'll help me. They'll put the word in. But also, we have a law here. It's called the Wayne Newton Law, or it's based off Wayne Newton, who was like
oh,
a musician in the earlier days of Vegas, and he was around my age, when he was in the music scene. And basically, the law is play, at a 21 and up place or whatever place it is, if they're there no earlier than 30 minutes before their performance time and no later than 30 minutes after. So that's helped me get in and out of places. That's opened a few more doors for me. But half of these places don't even know what that is. So
the
it's a
Wayne
little
Newton
hard.
Law, or
Yeah.
oh yeah,
So you have to explain.
I don't know if I'm gonna be honest, because there's a lot of people I know, at least locally, who I hear about them playing at bars. So I don't know
Mhm.
what law it is and like kind of how that works. I would love to look into that in the future, but I wonder if it is a Vegas specific law.
I don't know actually if it's Vegas or like nationally. I don't know, but
It
I
could
know that
just
it's
be bar rule as well.
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I totally understand that though, not being able to find gigs because they're just kind of limiting it, so that kind of limits your number. When you say, and I think for maybe a little bit of context, I would assume you guys um, are you guys really like doing a lot of your gigs in like on not maybe not on the strip exactly, but really in the city limits of Las Vegas?
It's mainly local Las Vegas. There are other areas that like aren't just a strip that have a lot of um like music opportunities. For
Mm-hmm.
example, one of the places I play at the most is the Arts District because it's a lot of breweries and just restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more easy for me to play at those places.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a cute little area, and a lot of it is family friendly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm more likely to stay at those places. But yeah, not really specifically the strip itself, just because everything is 21 and up there.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. I get
Mm,
that. Yeah, the strip. I'm sure there's just a kind of a lot of places there that you probably just aren't able to get into.
yeah.
So, we're kind of reaching our final minutes here. What is a piece of advice you would like to give others in your comparable situation? So, other artists who are, younger artists, struggling to find places to play, maybe.
Mm.
What was the advice you would give them?
Um, it's probably overused, but I'd probably say just like don't give up if you think that you're too young to do it because there's so many ways to grow from your age. Like
Mm,
have such a long time to figure out when like what you're gonna do, but
mm,
also you're a kid, so like you're only gonna be a kid once. So I'd
mm,
probably focus more on enjoying the moment while you have it, since you're not gonna be a kid forever. And that's one thing that I have to really think about too, because sometimes I'm too focused on the future and not on the present.
mm.
So just make sure that you stay and live in the moment while you can.
Yeah, enjoy it, right?
Mhm.
Don't
Yeah.
don't 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 let this ruin music for yourself, because at the end of the day, if you're not enjoying it, then you shouldn't be doing it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you again for being on this episode of the podcast, or wherever you may be listening. Thank you very much for joining. This was, I'm sure, a lot of people learned a lot, and I'm sure they'll be interested to check out some of your links for sure. The links of for Cam will be in the description of where you are listening. So whether it be on podcast, whether it be on YouTube, wherever, they will be in the description. And what is that Instagram tag, just in case somebody wants to memorize it?
Yeah, my Instagram is Cam Elise Music, Cam with a C.
Well, thank you again very much for being on. I want to thank the listeners. Thank you guys for tuning into this episode. Well, I hope everybody listening has a great rest of their day. And yeah, have a great day.
Yay!